Let's go ahead and do this proper like.
Rhymes Arcade, Rhymes Arcade, where the games get played and the games get saved so they can be played on another day. Rhymes Arcade.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to Rob's Arcade. I'm your host, Rob, hanging out here on top of this nasty smokestack, breathing in all that smoke first thing in the morning. Oh gosh, let me get out of here. Um, so yeah, the last time I hung out with you guys, I was actually doing a little bit of some Spider-Man and just kind of talking about like my day-to-day um, job, if you will. I wanted to kind of give you um, like a little bit of a um, kind of like a recap or like a heads up on like what. Whoa, 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 whoa! Back the other way, buddy. Um, on what some of that's kind of looked like. Um, I've actually just recently um, had to. Oh, cool. Speaking of kids, oh my gosh, this is hilarious. Wow. Okay, that's awesome. Let's go ahead and like, where is that at? Where is my? Oh, here we go. That's what I thought. Yeah. Okay. For some reason. Um. Yeah. So if like you didn't, I don't know if you caught like my last video. There's some things coming to change with like my job or just how all that goes, and it's a little crazy to kind of like wrap my head
All I did was
around.
save this kid's balloon from floating away, and he made me this. It's the little things that make it all worth it.
Boom. There we go. This is so perfect. This is not scripted. This was not planned. But this is exactly it. I mean, I have drawings like this. I have thank you cards like this, just for hanging out and being there with kids. Oh no, that lady sees me. And it's really cool, like the impact I've been able to make with these guys. And I think this lady's thinking about hurting herself. So we're going to hang up here with her. Um, I've never seen a character just like hanging up here on a fire escape before. This is really weird. Um, but so I started unpacking like some of the things that just go into my job in my last video, the day to day, like how all of that works. It's almost like I'm talking to this lady, like I'm sharing my problems with her, you know? Like this lady's here on the ledge, like, I'm having a really bad day, Spider Man. I'm thinking about hurting myself. And I'm like, listen, lady, we all have bad days. And now, like, I'm going to talk to you and share with you some of the issues that go on in my life. So it's a lot to unpack, and I don't
This party
know.
is gonna start soon.
I don't know that I'm ready to step away from these kids. You know, like um, I enjoy being around them so much and spending time with them. Like, you know, so many of my weekends, it's like um, you know, my Friday nights, it's like hanging out with them, doing these like little teen experiences with them, and doing these little video game nights and Lego nights and hanging. Like, I don't have a life. Like, I don't go out. I don't do anything um, with, you know, like socially or dating or anything really like that. Like, you know, my work is what I do. Is what my existence really. You know, it's like Spider Man. You know, he lives, breathes, and you know spends every panel of every book being there for other people. Um, I just want to be part of the machine, like where I work. I just want to be part of the machine and help. And that's always been the idea. Ever since I started part time, they have been so amazing to me and allowing me to kind of like change myself and, these Monday motivations. And it all kind of like really does intertwine with each other, kind of like a giant web, like all the little strands, all the little pieces really do connect and make a larger piece, if you will. Um, and so as long as I'm able to keep doing that, I think I'll be happy. I think that's like my main thing. Like I just want to be able to keep giving back and be able to be part of that cycle. Um, I had to have some conversations, co-advisor with some of my kids, and it's been kind of tough. It's been one of those things like trying to wrap our heads around like how's it going to look, how's this going to work, how can I support them, how can I stay around, how can I help, and it's a lot of little pieces to kind of figure out. But I think, well, I know we will. I know we'll figure it out. Um, I've been kind of breaking the news to people in levels. I don't want to like just come right out. And I think the next step is to like talk with the parents. I've actually started writing an email quite a few times, and every time I get to like the meat of it, it's like, hey, how's everything? How are you doing? Excuse me, and all that. And then I get to the actual piece of it, like, hey, come this time next year, I don't know that I'll be, you know, um, well, I know I won't be the team director come this time next year, but, what does all that look like? And just trying to explain that in, an email, it's tough. Even after having explained it like a half a dozen times, it's still um, tough to explain and to put together and piece together and all of that. But I've been trying to um, put the information out as I get it. Like I said, I feel like part of what's been going on, not necessarily has been kept from me, but myself and my supervisors feel like there's certain pieces that have been moving around that they may have had more of a awareness. The higher ups may have had more of an awareness that some pieces were going to be falling into place the way they did, and chose not to express that until much later. Um, and so, with those thoughts and feelings, I want to make sure going into this, will you cut off the goddamn horn? I come down there and spider your butt. Thank you. I just want to make sure going forward that I'm not doing that with my teams, with my people that work with me and everything. I want to make sure that they have all the information as I'm getting it, even if it changes. Like let's say I tell them that tomorrow, we're going to be taking bus B, C, and D, and then, coming to find out, we're going to be riding a couple of scooters. Like it's complete, like, but I'm going to tell them everything, even if it changes and all of that. And I've told them, like, it may change, like, I don't think I ever expected to. Let's get this traffic.
Hey, get it off! Stop him!
I better be more careful with my adoring public.
Jeez. There we go. So I just want to make sure that all the guys get the information as, it comes to them and nothing's being hidden. Like I said, even as information comes out and it changes, I want to make sure that they have all the pieces and everything that, they need, um, you know, going forward. Um, So I've been kind of breaking down the information, like I said, in levels. I wanted to go over this with my co-advisor first, and that's just been a really tough piece with all of this because I've been like really struggling with a lot of that. And I could even go into like a whole video with just some of that meat in itself because that's just been a very like complicated and I don't want to say stressful, maybe a little bit, maybe a little stressful, strenuous at times of a working relationship. But just such a lovely individual, and so like I always want to try to keep him in the loop first. But I mean, this guy's like he's a full-time firefighter. As we can hear in the city, I mean, there's just like sirens and things going on constantly. So you can imagine how busy this young man's life is, and he's constantly making moves to improve himself and do more for the community. And he's just a great person. Um, and so I wanted to kind of break all this down to him first. He was actually one of my first concerns when all of this news was even brought to me. It was like, is he still going to be there? Is he going to be there He was there before me, for them. He's been a huge part of our club and our kids and all of that. So I wanted to make sure he was going to be around and he was still going to be part of that. And that's literally before myself. I mean, I think that was like one of my first thoughts. And so I wanted to kind of break this to him first. I wasn't able to. In fact, I wanted to go him, like my college guys that I work with, and then you know my kids who like help with the meetings, and then just my kids in general. It didn't quite go that way. In fact, he was like third in a line of like four that I wanted to deliver all of this to. Um, so, actually, oh, here's a message from my guy now. Speaking of, um, yeah, he's in there now, like just talking with the kids and like putting messages out there, making sure they get their stuff in. Um, so, actually, I'm gonna say something in the message here. So far, everybody's been doing a really good job of getting hours and messaging me for opportunities. Period. I really appreciate it. Let's keep up the good work! Exclamation point. There we go. Um, so yeah, so I broke it down to like I said, my college guys and some of my kids who put more things together, and like their concerns were the same as my concerns, and God, it just made it really hard to tell like the rest of the kids what was going on. I mean, really, really tough. Just because I knew how heavy it was. I mean, it was like every time I had this conversation, it was like, bro, like, and like each person took it like a little bit heavier, and I was just like, man, this is not good.
His party is gonna start soon.
I know, Peter, we'll get there. Just chill. Um, so isn't this beautiful though? Um, so I finally this past week at our meeting, got the kids together at the end and told them everything, and it was such a crazy moment. Like, actually, hold on, let me get some more coffee real quick, and we'll pick back up with where um, I tell these poor kids. Um, Marvel Spider-Man is ready to play. We're playing it right now. This stupid PlayStation. What the frack? God, technology is so smart, but yet so dumb at the same time. Okay, thank you so much for holding on for a second there. I just wanted to grab some more coffee. But yeah, so finally told my kids Thursday night, and it's just like one of those things that just kept building and building and building and building to the end of the meeting. It's like we have like an hour and a half together, and then it's like all day long. You know, it's not till the evening, so all day long I'm thinking about it. And then like all the meeting is like, oh my gosh, and then finally like the last few minutes hit, and it was like, all right, no turning back. And so I started explaining what was going on, and I mean, you could literally feel the air being sucked out of the room as I started explaining how, hey guys, so there's some changes coming, and some positions aren't going to quite look the same, and there's not going to be, like a teen dude at every place anymore, and there's going to look more like this. And you could just, I mean, you could feel collectively the air being sucked out of the room slowly but steadily, just being like all the life, all the essence. I don't know if you've ever seen, hopefully, if you guys are watching my channel, hopefully you have seen the OG X-Men movies, like with Patrick Stewart and everything, And anytime he rolls into the scene, like time stops. Like there's a scene, I think they're like in a mall or something like that, and they're goofing off, and like everybody stops. The kids are like, "What did you do?" It's like, "I didn't do it." And all of a sudden, and like Professor X rolls in. Come, children, whatever, blah blah blah. We must go to the thingamajig. And so it was like that. It was like time literally stopped before us, and they were just staring blankly off into space. And then finally I said, the plan is I'm not going anywhere. I will still be around. I will still be here in the building, like that's the goal, to keep me in your life. Like a collective, like just as the air was pulled from the room, this collective sigh and release, and all their knees kind of gave for it. Like they were all kind of like, oh my gosh, thank you. Oh my gosh, Robert, you were freaking us out. And I'm like, that blew me away. I was really surprised by that. I was really like overwhelmed just by that little piece as I was speaking, and it almost made it hard to go on to my next thought. I was just like, wow, these kids are amazing. I love you guys so much. Um, like literally just being that like, oh my God, what if he doesn't? What if we never see him again? Robert, don't leave us. So they were just excited to know I wasn't really going anywhere, and I was, my plan is to stick around and to try to help with this transition. But they were thinking this, like, how does this work? How does any of this work? How does, one person, again, maintain and facilitate all the different aspects of all the different things we do? And they had questions, but it was something that I was like, look, guys, we don't have time to go through this, but I want you guys to put questions together, come to me with any thoughts and concerns so I can bring them to the higher ups. I mean, that's kind of like what we've always done in club, what we do with everything. We address our concerns, we bring it up the chain. Let's do that here. And, you know, just remember, I'm not planning on going anywhere. It's just things are going to look a little different. And, they've always looked a little different, right? I told them, it's just like, hey guys, this, nothing's been the same, right? Like since I stepped in, excuse me, things have been a little different. let's not be afraid of change. Change can be good. Change can be okay. Let's not fear it. Um, but in the same sense that things change when I step into this, things are going to change when this new. And the whole point is just to be there for them, work with them, and try to support them in every way possible. So I told them like I'm going to continue to share everything I learn and all the information I get. And then again, like just never hesitate to reach out. Any thought, any concern, any question you have, like what does this look like? Um, just reach out and let me know what you're thinking about. Um, same with you guys. I always say the same thing, like leave comments and questions and whatever. I feel like sometimes we have those and we're like, and we just kind of like, I'll do it later. It's not that big of a deal. But no, type the question in, throw it in there. You never know. You never know what that conversation can lead to and what can come of those little pieces. Um, so then we finished up our meeting, and we finished up our meeting the same way we finish up every meeting. We do like a magic circle, and I know that sounds kind of silly or TGIFE, Full Housey, Family Matters, but yeah, we do a magic circle. We all stand around together. We hold hands in a circle, and we go around and we give shout outs to people that we want to recognize, whether it's in club or at home. Maybe you want to shout out your parents. Nobody ever does that, but maybe one day. Or a teacher. Teachers get shout outs from time to time. Shout out people in club and all of that. And I just shouted all of them out. Like I was just so happy to see them. And I was just like, guys, I just want to shout all of you out. You're awesome. And then like one by one, and I mean, we're talking to like 20 kids, just all shouting me out. And not just like, oh, I want to shout out Robert, but it was like some of them. I mean, some of them were just like, yeah, I just want to shout out Robert. I just want to shout out Robert. Some of them, most of them, would actually like shout me out for a reason. I just want to shout out Robert because he's this, he's awesome, he's so many, he does this, he does that. My cohort went on to say some of the most beautiful things about me, and as he's going into, oh, he does this and he does that, and you guys don't even know. He's amazing. Some of my kids chimed into like, yeah, guys, you don't know. Like he does so much behind the scenes. And, I mean, I was like looking at them through these teary eyes, and it wasn't like sad. It was just I was just so proud of them and just like so overwhelmed with emotion. Um, it was beautiful. Like I was not expecting it. It was one of those things like you kind of goes like, oh man, wouldn't it be cool if like everybody in this circle like just shouted me out? It's kind of like it's a goofy thing to hope for or want. I think it's a really sweet thing, and I think like yeah, like who wouldn't want that? Who wouldn't want all of like the shout outs from all of their peers and like or everybody to all the students in your class to like look up to you and be like, yeah, we want to shout out Mr. Armstrong. He's amazing. But to have it happen, man, it was cool. It was a really special moment. It was really nice. And then we have a moment where we go around and we do like these step ups, which is a more serious time, and we get things off of our chest and what's bothering us and all. My parents are this, and I got a test coming up, and my grades suck, and my things this and whatever. Driving classes, they were all like just quiet. So I think just so overwhelmed with everything.
Don't want to miss May's party.
All right, dude, we're gonna get ready to head out right now. Um, just so like overwhelmed with what they had just. Oh, dude, we'll be there in no time. And what they had just learned, and I think it was one of those things like they may have had stuff on their minds like, oh man, I got this test tomorrow and I'm just not ready for it or something like that. But then like once they heard what was going on with their club and what was happening, it was like none of that mattered, and I think that hit more than anything else. Um, but it's just like it is what it is, and I think that's something that we've tried to instill in them as leaders, that things change and you have to be able to pivot and adapt and adapt, overcome all of that nonsense. But it's true, you have to be able to be a little flexible and um, be able to kind of like, I guess, just roll with the punches. It's a weird cliche kind of a thing to say, but it's like it's very, very true. Just kind of like roll with the punches from time to time. There's a great saying, actually. I think it's the Serenity Prayer. Um, Actually, no, yeah, I know it is. But it was kind of like modeled into a saying or a quote for Spider-Man, because so many things happen in his life, like with his Uncle Ben, and about that whole, like, accept the things you can't change the things you can't accept, and have the wisdom to know the difference between the two. Um, and I think that comes into play very much here, because there's just some things you just can't control, and you have to be able to accept that. And then there's some things that you can control, and like what can you do in those moments as well. Well, anyway, guys, thank you so much for, just like I said, always hanging out with me here. Been really enjoying just getting back into these little um, talks with you guys, and just like hanging out. Um, Please leave a comment down below, like, share, subscribe, all of that jazz. And remember, until next time, don't spend that quarter anywhere else.
Mr. Lee's probably in the kitchen getting ready for the party.